Patient. I was curious, how does Gracie work? Do patients have to opt into it, or are they automatically put into the
Yes,
system?
they have to actually opt into having their information uploaded.
Okay,
Yes.
got it. Thank you.
Any other? Oh, Commissioner Stone, I'm sorry, I'm glad, listen, because I had my head this way. Come on, Commissioner Stone.
I'm way down here on the end,
Yeah.
on my little island. That's right. Mr. Chairman, I'm really grateful for all the work we're doing in this area, especially as many of you know, with the mental health. But the Gracie, we have been really pushing hard because it is important for our first responders, especially, to know if they can pull up information concerning an individual that has been treated for prior incidents and that may need to be treated in a more sensitive manner. So for the safety of our first responders, as well as the safety of the individual that needs treatment, this opting into this Gracie system is extremely important. So thank you.
Thank you.
And let me say, thank you for what you do and how you do it, because I had the opportunity this past Sunday night, Monday morning, all right? I had to get up and go answer a call with someone who was threatening suicide. And so to see it come together from the county police standpoint and then from EMS and how we were able to convince the person to get that treatment and then to be shifted over to Gateway, and it's because they were able to access, and while they were there in the unit, they were able to access the information to get them in the right place at the right time. So I saw it in action this week, and so I'm grateful to you all. And now let me say this: I see Mr. Grandy from over at Curtis V. Cooper sitting in the audience, and who else in partnership with you? Come on, Mr. Grandy, stand up.
Mr. Grant is our chair.
Is it? Yeah, well, I just wanted to find out if he wanted to have a few minutes to say a few words, because I know he serves on the board.
He's amazing.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, good morning,
morning.
Commissioners. Thank you. First of all, on behalf of the Planning Council and Curtis Cooper, obviously, we know we're the largest provider of care and been here doing the longest. But the way I look at it is what we're doing is not to have a win, but we want to have a solution.
Okay.
So it's going to take a collaboration of all of the entities that we have in fold as we move into the school system. And one area we look at behavior health, and it's more the social determinants. And one avenue I'm speaking to the county manager about is how we could use some of our resources we haven't utilized around dental, because that impacts your nerves. And I can have my individuals say, and now we have a psychiatrist and a medical, and we have chronic disease and things of that nature, and have a healthy Chatham County. And the things that we do, we can collaborate, and I think we can have a better solution to keep people healthy, because you can't put a value on a life. And the things we're doing around prescriptions, we have some other solutions, some avenues that we really could help individuals in the community to stay healthy. And one other thing we're doing, as well as J.C. Lewis, is we're still going to have a campaign for vaccines and vaccinations. You know, the public emergency has been extended to April. Therefore, we'll be putting that out. And if you look at the paper, there's a lot of individuals in the hospital for COVID now. We're just not having people dying because of the vaccines, like anything else, from polio, anything of that nature. Once it's tested and it's been proven, and they have medicines to control it, just like for hypertension, anything else, and individuals, whether or not they believe it or not. But that's the information we want to get out so individuals stay healthy, because it's not just being vaccinated, there's other chronic disease that we have to deal with. And on behalf of all of the members are part of the Planning Council, we call the Safety Net, we want to thank you for your support.
All right, thank you all, and appreciate it. And look forward to continue working. Thank you.
Thank you.
All righty. We don't have any chairman's items or commissioner items. We don't have any table items. We go to items for individual action. Number one, vote on the board improvement, appoint Steve Green to the Savannah Harbor Interstate 16 Corridor Joint Development Authority. Is there a motion?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Properly motion and second that Mr. Green be appointed to the Joint Venture Authority. Are you ready for the question?
Just a quick question, Mr.
Question.
Chairman. How many seats does the county have on that authority?
2.
All right, who are our current seat holders?
Myself and now Mr. Green.
Gotcha. All right.
All right.
Wait, so I thought at one point we had another appointment. This would be our third seat.
No. Here's how we're doing that. CETA has an appointment,
Gotcha.
okay? And that's the third one from Chatham County. That's how we get the third in there.
Gotcha.
But there are only two appointments,
Gotcha.
all right?
Thank you.
Okay? Cast your votes. Okay? Let's move on. Request approval of the following budget amendment and transfer in the multi-grant fund, increase revenue and expenditures, $98,950 for the GEMA SWAT unit grant. 2, and the CDBG fund increase, revenues and expenditures, $19,474,700 for the HUB block grant. Is there a motion?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Properly motion and second. Are you ready for the question? Please cast your votes. Okay. Now we'll turn it over to you, Mr. Manager, for the transmittal of the annual financial report and audit.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. I'm going to ask our Finance Director, Ms. Amy Davis, to come to the podium, and Ms. Davis is going to introduce the item and also introduce our external auditor who's here to submit the report and make some comments and answer any questions that you may have. So, Ms. Davis.
Good morning, Chairman and Commissioners. Thank you for this opportunity to present these statements. First and foremost, I'd like to thank my staff, my Assistant Director, Elisa Fish, our Financial Services Manager, Maria Spears, and the entire Finance Department for putting this together. As every year, our government accounting standard boards are implementing new standards that we have to jump through and get through. This year, it was leases. In the past, all we did was pay the leases, and now we have to report micro details of every lease in the county. And I want to thank you so much for limiting all of those leases. It has been a monumental task this year, and I know my predecessor always presented the statements in December, and I typically have been getting them out in January. But again, we have been going through so many hurdles on these statements, and it just gets worse and worse every year. So, with that, I present the financial statements for June 30th, 2022. You should have received your financial statement books this last week. I wanted to just go through the sections of this book. It includes an introduction, which includes the organizational chart, a listing of all of the elected officials, a presentation of our award for last year's statements, and a transmittal letter that'll just basically describe the county as a whole. The financial sections include the auditor's opinion letter, which was unqualified, the management's discussion and analysis, which is kind of a snapshot of the overall statements, entity-wide financial statements, and the fund financial statements. The notes, you can find detailed information that support all of these numbers. In the required supplementary area includes budgetary comparisons and information on the OPEB and pension plans. The supplementary information gives details for the non-major funds. And the statistical section provides demographic information and multi-year comparisons, typically goes back about 10 years. And the mandated section at the end, it will present the special purpose local option sales tax information, hotel motel tax information, and the energy excise tax and child support programs. For the general fund, we had a general fund balance beginning at $65.6 million. We had revenues of $220.9 million and expenditures and transfers out of $220.3 million for a total ending fund balance of $66.3 million. Of that fund balance, non-spendable, which would be our prepaid expenses or inventory items, was $1.1 million. We had restricted funds of $18,000. Committed funds, which is our 30% reserve, of $63.2 million, and an unassigned fund balance of almost $2 million for an ending balance of $66.3 million. In the revenues, again, this goes into detail on how this is broken down for a total of $220.9 million. Notice that investment loss of $16.3 million. That is a unrealized loss, and hopefully if this market ever improves, we won't see that anymore. And then you have the breakdown on the right-hand side of the expenditures. The highest, of course, is our public safety at 67.7, followed by the general government at 47.6. In the special service district, we had a beginning fund balance of almost 18 million. We had revenues and transfers in of 51.6, expenditures and transfers out of 54.3, for an ending balance of 15.2. This is the first time our expenditures exceeded our revenues in several years now, and that is primarily due to the transfer to the fire district of $6 million. Now, the fund balance in the special service district, the non-spendable was 40,000, I'm sorry. I get too used to speaking in millions. Our committed 30% reserve was 13 million, and our unassigned or signed for the purposes of the fund was 2.1 million. And again, this is the revenues and expenditures for the special service district. Property taxes were 33.7 million, and for a total of 51.6, and expenditures, again, 54.3. Other funds are listed here. And then finally, I just wanted to remind everyone that for the last almost 40 years, we have been receiving the Certificate for Excellence in Financial Reporting. We received it this last year as well, and we fully anticipate receiving it again this next year. And with that, I would like to introduce Trey Scott with Malden & Jenkins. He's a partner with the firm, and he was the lead auditor on our audit, and he will have some comments for us. Trey?
Thank you, Ms. Davis, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. Certainly happy to be here with you all today. It's a lot easier to come and present good news versus bad, and that's what we have here today. I think Ms. Davis mentioned it if she didn't. We issued the county a clean, or what we call an unmodified opinion. That's exactly what you're looking for. It's the highest level of assurance that we can provide to you as your external auditor. I think it's also important to note we had no audit findings. We had no management letter comments, and we had no auditor proposed adjustments. And those three things together are pretty impressive. And I certainly think that's a testament to the hard work that management, certainly the finance department, do on a daily basis, and something they should be commended for. Ms. Davis mentioned about all of the new GASB standards. Look at the size of that document sitting there. I mean, 10 years ago, it was probably 3/4 of that size. 20 years ago, probably half that size. So GASB continues to keep us on our toes and continues to add more and more pages to that document for everyone really enjoy reading, I would imagine. So, but again, I don't want to take up too much of your time. I know you all have a pretty full agenda, but just wanted to make sure that you all were aware that that's a pretty impressive thing, to not have any findings, not have any management points, not have any auditor proposed adjustments. That ought to give you all a great deal of comfort in the numbers that are presented to you all outside of this annual audit. That if your auditors aren't having to come in and make changes for the annual audit, those numbers are being presented on a monthly basis are correct, and you can have comfort in the fact and knowing that they don't have to be adjusted at year end by us. So, but with that said, yeah, thank you for the opportunity to serve you all, and we look forward to serving you in the future.
All right, Mr. Manager?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I'm going to get Leonard to help me. Is this the first year that we hadn't had any comments?
I believe so.
Yeah, this is the first year, so it's a testament to Ms. Davis, Ms. Kramer, and the finance staff. So, I can't remember in my tenure us not having any comments to respond to. So I think that's well to be noted.
Yeah, especially with all the federal money that we've been getting in. And, that expands the work that the auditor has to do because there are more programs there that they have to look at.
And I would like to say that is not just a financial achievement, but it's a county achievement because we are Team Chatham. Not only is the finance department audited, but the sheriff's office, the courts are audited, and every aspect of the county is audited, and so it's truly amazing. I also wanted to bring it to everyone's attention that these financial statements are available on our website. If you go to the finance department at chathamcounty.org, they are right there along with our annual budget, and they are open for anyone's inspection.
Commissioner Stone?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just have one quick question. In reading through this, the amount of vacancies that we have that will need to be filled, how is this, how do you see that this is going to affect the budget going forward?
The effect on the budget, it's positive. However, operationally, it is a problem. I understand that the sheriff hit a landmark 200 position vacancy this week. So it's operationally, it's a real problem. Budgetarily, we're looking good.
Yeah, right, but when those vacancies are filled, the monies will have to be spent.
Yep, and we budget for those positions.
Okay, so we have budgeted for
Yes,
those,
ma'am.
so you did answer my question. That was my concern. If we're short-staffed by this many people, what's gonna happen when we go through the hiring process? So if we budgeted for them, that's all I needed to know.
Yes, we do typically budget for all vacant positions where we sometimes, it's a guessing game is the healthcare insurance. Because the cost for insurance can vary greatly between family coverage or employee only. So that's a guessing game.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Commissioner Milton?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Now, my question, you said this is the first time that you've had the expenditures to outweigh your income on that 54 million?
That was SSD, and since I've been here 9 years, and we've always had a positive increase in the fund balance. So, yeah, this is the first year. We've always had available funds. We've never gone under our required reserve percentage amounts that I'm aware of.
But you gave an explanation as to why that happened, and I didn't quite hear you.
If you recall, the fire department stopped billing in December of 2021, and we kind of pre-funded them for the first 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Thank you.
No, anything else from anyone? Yes, sir.
So thank you, and I'm proud that we're cooking with grease when it comes to our finance department. So I was looking in the management discussion and analysis, and I see, as you stated, public safety is a huge chunk of our budget, 75 million. Public works is actually at 95 million. Is that including ARPA funding and stuff like that, or what is that?
Is that entity-wide statements? Because yes, that would include the ARPA funding. Typically, on your fund statements, they would be separated out into the ARPA fund. But in the entity-wide, it's all pooled together as a single entity statement.
Got you. All right. And I see that, so because last year was 71 million, or excuse me, 2021, it says 71 million, 2022, 95 million. So that's a tremendous influx of federal funds then, which we should be.
Well, it also includes your SPLOST projects and
Oh, okay, gotcha.
distributions to the cities, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Ms. Nia has a question.
All right.
I just want to ask if all this information is like available to the public on a website or anything?
The full financial statements are available on the website.
All right. Any other? Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. All right. All right, go to the action calendar. May I have a motion to accept the action calendar in its entirety?
I'll second the motion.
It's probably excuse me, probably motion and second that we accept the action calendar in its entirety. Are you ready for the question? Please cast your votes. Okay. We don't have any first readers, we don't have any second readers. And now we're getting ready for informational items. Let me first call on Commissioner Stone, and then I'll call on the manager. Commissioner Stone has some informational items.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm very excited to give good news on the behalf of NACO and their team and the Health Steering Committee of NACO, in that persistence over the last few years has enabled us to get rid of the Medicaid inmate exclusion policy for juveniles. Now, we have not been successful as of yet with adults, but this will allow juveniles in our detention center who are Medicaid eligible to not disrupt their services while they're being incarcerated awaiting trial. Therefore, not losing these benefits will enable them, once they are released, to continue with the services, the wraparound services that they may need. So I see this as a huge win for counties, and I'm very happy to bring that news to you. When I get the actual full recap of the meeting where this was brought forward by Blair Bryant, who is the legislative liaison for the Health Steering Committee, I will forward you all that recap so that you can see exactly what's being done. But this is going to be very helpful so that these services will continue while these individuals are awaiting a hearing.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Mr.
Thank you.
Manager?
Okay. Yes, Mr. Chairman. Just a couple things to, as indicated in the pre-meeting, staff will be sending out a list of workshops that we'll be putting on for the board between now and budget adoption. So please pay particular attention to those. We've got workshop on our fire fee, indirect cost allocation, strategic planning, and ARPA. So ARPA projects. So please be mindful of those. Also, as a point of information, we are in the process of setting up a tour for the board to tour the Hyundai plant in Montgomery, Alabama. Myself and the chairman, we went with CETA a couple months ago, and it's very impressive. So we've got commissioners from Bryan, Effingham, and Bullock, along with Chatham. We're setting up tours for the commission. It's kind of up and back, but I would encourage all the commissioners when we get those set up, and we're going to try to get a day that's going to be. Of course, we have to schedule it when they can take us, but I would encourage you to make time when you schedule to attend that. So be very beneficial, because we really need to see what, what's coming to our area. So I would encourage you to do that. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Right, and let me piggyback on what he just said by saying that we as a commission need to know what's the impact of Hyundai is gonna be to us, okay? And one of the things you're gonna find when you get there is that the surrounding areas within a 75-mile radius, okay? And the economic as well as the other impacts that it comes to them, and we are not 75 miles away from the Hyundai plant. Okay, so things are gonna come this way and they're gonna come fast. So let me encourage you, we've gotta have those workshops done, all right? In the meantime, the staff is gonna be going into budget workshops with the folks who will be asking us for money for this upcoming budget that we have to pass by July 1. So I encourage you now, if somebody from a department or somebody from a nonprofit or any other get in touch with any of you, direct it to the manager and let him kind of walk you through what's coming, because there is a demand that's gonna come, right? So we're just trying to prepare you for that, okay?
Yes, sir. And also, we attended the JDA board meeting yesterday, and they're giving job projections. And we're more
We're at the top.
10,000, 11,000 jobs projected for that project. So, and we'll be getting out a report to the board that's going to summarize, the suppliers that have committed to coming to this area, along with the job numbers.
Mr. Chairman.
As long as getting, as well as getting ready for, if the prediction hold true, somewhere in the next 3 to 5 years, the population here in Chatham County will double. All right, so we've got to get ready for that. All right, so that's why we want to make sure that you are available to attend these workshops and get that information, because it's coming at you, okay? Yes, sir, Ms. Milton first.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's, just a note that they've already hired a workforce director. So we need to push our people in that direction so we can get these jobs filled, but we can get them prepared to go to work. Because they come.
And then the thing too is not only, I know the biggest focus now is talking about Hyundai, but we also have to sustain those businesses that are already here. Because if folks start running the Hyundai and start leaving the ports or start leaving Gulfstream, they're still gonna have that voice. So that's what the workforce director is working on, the plans for how we're going to deal with that, okay? To keep what we have, but yet meet the needs of what's coming, or what is here, I should say. All right, Commissioner Whiteland?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And that kind of answered one of my questions. And I think when you're talking about that workforce director, that's for JDA or for Hyundai?
Yeah, that's for, no, it's not, it's a collaboration between Hyundai, Georgia Power, Georgia Ports, Gulfstream, Amazon, who am I leaving out?
JCB, I think.
JCB, all right? They're coming together saying, okay, you're coming in with 8,100 jobs, all right? You're coming in with $32 an hour, $65,000 a year. How's that gonna impact me? So what's that gonna do to the workforce? And I can tell you now, as I sit here, Chatham County does not have the workforce. But there is, in the workforce, there is workforce training and readiness, all right? There are things that we're planning. One of the things that I discussed that's still in the discussion stage is how do we reach down into the school system to start preparing kids from 9th grade to 12th grade to take these jobs? And then after it gets in the school system, how do we expand it down as far as 3rd grade to prepare kids to have a career mind set? I need to start thinking about what am I gonna do next? See, because I'm 10 now, but in 10 years I'll be 20. See, and so I would have been through the school system, and am I prepared now to step into the workforce? Those are the kind of conversations we're having now, trying to be proactive rather than reactive. All right, because we look at the success, and that's one of the things that I said to them. That's why we want to set up that field trip, I'm gonna call it. All right, for all the commissioners. I've been there the manager has been there, but you need to see and hear how it impacted that whole community. See, they thought it was in one place, but it turned out to be like this here, okay? And so we need to be ready because there are gonna be demands on the commission. There are gonna be demands on this county. And so how do we get ready for that, okay?
Yes, sir. Well, and with that, are there any opportunities for us as commissioners to be a part of those discussions as we prepare to potentially spend funds to
But that-
support this?
that's why we're talking about doing the workshops, and that's why we're talking
Gotcha.
about doing the field trips.
Gotcha.
There
You
is
need
a-
the information, all right?
There is a consultant that worked with the folks in Montgomery, and they're having meetings in this area this week and next week. And I'll get you those dates so you can attend. Because also, the workforce development is not specifically for the Hyundai. It's for the existing.
Region, yeah.
Yeah, so one of the things that they told us, Hyundai's gonna pay a very good wage, so they're probably not gonna have issues of getting workers. But the other industries, the governments, those are the ones that we're gonna target to try to help get workers for them.
Got you. And so in that same vein, I know, I see on our website that we have updated the blueprint. Applications are coming up.
Yes, sir.
And so I think it's important that we put that out to the public,
We will.
that the application will open on the 27th. And if you go to our website, you can actually sign up for a newsletter for updates on that. Mr. Manager, a question I have for you, where are we with with the negotiation of your contract?
Oh, let me stop you with that, okay? We'll answer that to you in the executive session. That's personnel. All right?
A secret?
No, it's not a secret, but I think that we don't,
I don't know what y'all talking about.
he wants to know the negotiations with the manager,
No, I asked, where are we?
Where
You know,
are we?
Are we close to being
the
finished?
status of that.
I would say so, yes, sir.
Okay, that's what I was asking. I'm not asking
All
for
right.
details.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I didn't want us to spill out, say something.
Oh, no, I'm not
Yeah,
asking for
okay.
details.
That's
And with
right.
that, Mr. Chairman, when will we negotiate a contract with our county attorney?
Those are personnel things.
That's the secret too.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
that's right, it's personnel.
It's a time, it's not
Okay.
details.
All right. We'll get there. We'll get where you want to be. Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
All right. Let me recognize them before we get ready, because we do have to have a executive session to cover some of those things you just talked about. Let me recognize Ms. Fay. And Ms. Fay, you know I call you Ms. Fay because I don't try to mess up your last name. I don't even try to say it, all right? And let me recognize Ms. Cutter from Chatham Area Transit, all right? Thank you, ma'am, and we on key and on task, okay?
Mr. Chairman, you stole my thunder.
Your thunder?
Yes, I was going to.
Oh, listen.
That's okay. Go
Okay.
ahead. That's okay.
All right, now, we do need a motion to go in executive session. Probably motion and second that we go into executive session. Ready for the question? For personnel, litigation, acquisition. So we cover it all in case some of it come up. All right? Please cast your votes. Oh, everybody's voted but me, huh? Okay, no? All right, we are in an executive session.